Hello, hi, my name is Francesca. I'm an Italian knitter and this video is all about Italian yarns. I hope this list can serve as a guide. So if you ever were to come to Italy, if you pick from this list, you'll know that it'll be a true souvenir from Italy. Or if you have a friend who's not a knitter and they're coming to Italy and you want them to bring something home for you, then they can pick from this list. And I'm sure some of these brands you will be able to even get them from outside of Italy, even in person in a yarn store, especially in Europe, I'm assuming. You can order online to get some of these Italian yarns. So I will put down in the description box the websites that I usually use to acquire some of these brands, so maybe those are helpful for you. But yeah, feel free to take a look. I have an iPad here just because I have a couple of notes, but I've not done extensive research at all. So if you hear a brand that you're interested in and you see maybe a skein of yarn that looks beautiful, feel free to do your own research on that brand. And we'll have 3 categories: commercial yarns, then more small producers, kind of a middle category in there, and lastly more hand-dyed yarn. We will start from the commercial yarns, and we'll also start with the most expensive, the fanciest, the one that you will probably have heard of by now, and that's Cardiff Cashmere. Ding 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 ding. The sound is appropriate because this yarn is quite expensive. This is 100% cashmere, and the brand is called indeed Cardiff Cashmere. So in the name of the brand, they have cashmere in there. So you know that if you pick from this brand, you'll most likely see some cashmere content. And just in general, it's like a high-end, I think, yarn. I've not used this yarn ever. I've stayed away a little bit because of the price. However, I feel like if you were to kind of splurge on this yarn, you can even get away with a couple of bows and do a little tiny scarf. And so you don't have to buy a sweater quantity of this yarn to really enjoy the squishiness and the softness. And Cardiff Cashmere does not only do this one is the classic, kind of like a sport weight thickness. They also do a thinner version, a thicker version of the same content, but they also do brush light that looks very soft when I looked on their website. And from the website where I ordered these yarns from, they also sell an Italian brand that's called Sesia. I've not used Sesia, however I've seen it quite a lot in Italian yarn stores. Yeah, so just a honorable mention that if you do see Sesia yarn in store, that 100% counts as a proper souvenir from Italy. In the category of commercial yarns, I also have Laines du Nord, which for the longest time I didn't understand it was from Italy because the name really sounds French to me, Laines du Nord. And so I didn't even realize they were Italian, but they are. And I unfortunately have a bowl of yarn that doesn't look very good because I swatched with it, started a project, and then kind of frogged back. So it feels like an egg. I apologize for this. I should not even show this, but this is actually a color changing yarn. So you start from one end and you knit your shawl or project, then you get a free color change without even putting any effort or changing yarn yourself. So I do like the idea. I'm sorry I cannot show you, but Laines du Nord, they are 100% Italian. And lastly, in the commercial yarn category is Borgo de Pazzi. Borgo de Pazzi, they are from Florence, and I've used their super soft cashmere, which is not 100% cashmere, has some cashmere content but not 100%, and I've used it for my green sample of an Italian winter shawl. And I do really like the consistency because it is lightweight and soft. It's very cozy. That's what you would like from a shawl, I think. So I'm happy. This concludes our commercial yarns, and onto what I've called small producers. We'll start with Campolmi Filati. They are from Florence. They have a beautiful store in Florence. I've been there in person, and they have bowled up yarn that kind of looks like a regular ball of yarn, but they also have yarn that is in cones. So you can buy like smaller quantities, bigger quantities, like actual cone of yarn that doesn't have like a proper label attached. And I have used their cones. This is a recycled cashmere. I guess this is now a hat. I mean to say the yarn that I've used is recycled cashmere from Campolmi Filati. And it was in a cone. I just picked up the cone quantity that they had and brought it home. It feels still very soft, and the price point is lower for the recycled version than if you were to just buy like regular cashmere. Next up, small producers, leWolle, the two people that created this yarn. So it's Giulia from Wool Done and Federica from Wool Crossing. So they're, I guess, friends both in the yarn industry, and they came together and created this beauty. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for your service. So leWolle is the yarn brand, and Nocciole is the name of the specific yarn. And this is very, very soft. This is the same yarn that I've used for the sweater that I'm wearing, which is a kind of modified Monday sweater by PetiteKnit. And this is wool and angora, it's like a DK weight yarn. And again, I cannot stop saying that this is soft because it's 100% soft. And they also have lovely colors. I think my favorite is still this lovely green, but this I think is a close second. Although there's a pumpkin orange color that I think is actually on paper my top choice. And to wrap up the small producers category, we have LolloCrea. So LolloCrea, they are an Italian brand, an Italian like small producer, small batches, women-led. They actually gifted this yarn to me. And what I find interesting about this brand is that they do have small batches. So maybe colors that you'll find, or yarns actually that you'll find on the website now, you won't see them in a couple of months or even a month, because they continuously refresh their website with different colors and different actual like types of yarn. And they have, I think, prices that are lower than other producers. So you can get away with like spending less money for a garment. And LolloCrea, I don't think you can find in stores. You will have to order online. Okay, friends, hand-dyed yarn category. We'll start with Lanivendole. This is their card. I have their pure and simple wool in a beautiful like light speckly color. And as you can see, this is hand-dyed, very, very squishy and soft, non-superwash. And I think I picked actually the most like light color that they have, but their typical palette is more like autumny, kind of moody, darkish, muted. They envelop you in a story almost. And they also collaborate with pattern designers. I've seen that. They will typically create like a box with the yarn or maybe with a mug, and it's all like intended for you to knit a specific pattern with that yarn. And I don't know, I really like that. And the owners are Giulia and Stefania. And so again, women-led, love it. Moody colors. This is actually, I think, a very popular Italian brand. They often go to yarn festivals, so you might have seen Lanivendole around, even if you never stepped foot in Italy. Hand-dyed brand that is absolutely new to me. I have a couple of skeins, but I've not used this brand before. This is Dark Omen. Very moody colors, at least the ones that I picked or that grabbed my attention. But Francesco, who's the owner, I think has a good selection of, and even if you want something more like bright and fun, you can find something among the Dark Omen yarns. The actual yarn that I picked is Dynasty. When I saw that this was a sport weight yarn, which I find perfect for like a hat, which is like warm but not too thick, I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, next up. A yarn brand that I've discovered, I think a couple of months ago, is Snailyarn. This was an advent calendar from Snailyarn indeed, and it was a 24 mini skeins, and so I was able to do a little like throw blanket. It's not like a very big one, but like it's big enough for me to kind of wrap around in my office. And yeah, as you can see, they are all tonals, no speckles. I gravitate towards tonal colors, so they have a lot of depth, but no speckles. It's just like a lot of character. So each color would be a good representation of what this brand does in terms of colors and color choices. And the owner also puts together kits of 3 to 4 skeins of yarn for shawl projects, for mystery knit along by Stephen West, for example. And so you can just pick an entire kind of array of skeins in different colors that she puts together. Yeah. So if you do like tonals, hand dyed, and you're interested in buying something from Italy, I would recommend her. And last but not least, La Piantalana. I don't have anything to show you. She does very small batches, and actually this is not just hand dyed, but it's natural dyed. So she uses natural matters to dye her yarn, and you can really see in the final product the earthy tones that actually come from the earth. So it makes sense, they are earthy tones. And that concludes the hand-dyed section, but also concludes this video. Thank you for sticking with me. If you have any more like honorable mentions in terms of other Italian brands that I've not mentioned but that you really like, let me know, and I can also add them in the description box after like I scour the comments to find your recommendations. Love you very much. Bye. See you next time.